Hey friends, so I want to give you an update for CC Cycle 1 Week 4. This is what we did. For geography, we just did Show Me Tell Me, and we used dry erase markers to look at the Hittite Empire. We talked about how that connects with our timeline. Hattusa, it's at the top, and we said hat reminds you of a hat, and hat is at the top, so that's a good way to remember that. I pointed out that Asia Minor is where modern day Turkey is, and that the Arabian Desert is between the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf, since this is something they have already learned from previous weeks. For math, we continued with our physical challenges. I asked the kids to go around and pick a physical challenge that they wanted the rest of their classmates to do, so that was fun. For English, we did the prepositions. Before, behind, below, beneath, beside. And then we kind of said it in that little sing-songy way that, like the CC song. And then at the very end, we put it all together and we had the kids sing from the beginning up until this point, just to tie it all in together because it is one long song. For history, we sang the song, Tell Me About the Seven Wonders of the Ancient World, and I brought a limbo bar and had everybody sing and take turns as they went under the limbo bar. For early Native Americans, you make a motion from your nose to your ear, like you have a little chain, I guess. Israel divides into two kingdoms. So Israel divides. Homer and Hesiod, these are H's, Homer and Hesiod. And then Rome are founded, and then by Romulus and Remus, two R's. Israel falls to Assyria. Assyria is one we learned at the beginning of the year. It was in one of our other timeline cards. And then Assyria falls to Babylon. Again, Babylon is one we already learned earlier in the year. And Lhasa, Confucius, Buddha. This is the ASL sign for wonder. And Lhasa, Confucius, and Buddha were thinkers. Then for Latin, we chanted just like last week because it repeated from last week, the first declension noun endings. And it's to the tune of bingo. If it sounded familiar, I wrote it down in my notes so I remember bingo. And it's I am I am I am singular first declension. I aram is as is. I aram is as is. I aram is as is. Plural first declension. So we sang that, and we also played hot potato. So we tried to sing it through several times, and then by the time we got to the seventh time, we didn't want to be the person that had the hot potato, otherwise you lose. For science, it was very similar to last week. So what are some parts of the plant cell? Last week it was, what are some parts of an animal cell? So it was basically the same thing. So we did, what are some parts of a plant cell? Some parts of a plant cell are nucleus, N, cytoplasm, C, vacuole, V, mitochondria, cell membrane, Golgi bodies. And then now we're going to add two more parts, which is cell wall, so there's a wall, and chloroplasts. It's like a blast, like it exploded. Chloroplasts. So our science experiment had to do with pollution, and we talked about pollution. And we also talked about our sin and how even a little bit of sin in our life can stain all of us, and it just never goes away, and the only one who can clean it 100% is Jesus' blood, so that's beautiful. So for fine arts, we did our abstract art, and this is fun because it allows them to think outside the box and be more creative. So we used our oils, and I described something that I was looking at and told them using oils terms. So draw two circles on the top half of your page, and then draw a line across the middle, and by the end, obviously everyone had very different looking drawings that were all very abstract and different, and then I showed them mine, and it's just, and then we just talked about the beginnings of abstract art and how it came about as a response to photography, because until that point in time, art, the epitome of art was to try and be as close as possible to reality. Those were the great masters of painting. And when photography came along, photography can obviously reproduce the real world as we're actually seeing it. So artists, in response to that, started making things that you couldn't necessarily see or capture with a camera. And they try to capture feelings and ideas and thoughts. And so things that are not representational. So some of them did a lot of color or blowing things up or being completely not representational of anything in the world. So we had a good day. For our review game, I bought a cool little game that's a tabletop shuffleboard with these like marble pieces that we had 2 teams, and the kids took turns trying to get the marble pieces to land just right on the little board, and then that would be the points that they would get if they answered the question correctly, and then we just went back and forth as we reviewed the last 4 weeks of work. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, and see you again next week. Bye.